Thank you guys for coming. This is the information session for the Small Business Plan Competition Grant. I'm Casey Verburg. I'm with the City of Greenville in the Office of Economic Development. I'm the grant manager, so I kind of run the program. To my left is our two of our three committee members. One of them, Judy Sigwa, was unfortunately unable to be here today. Then we have Angela Marshall and Mark Woodson. So they're the ones who make the decision on who gets funded and who doesn't. So we're going to kind of go through a little bit of the agenda. So we're going to give an overview of the competition, the process for how you submit for the competition. Then Mark and Angela are going to talk about the expectations, and then we'll have some Q&A. If you do have a question towards the end, if you don't mind coming up to the mic, we are going to record it so we can put it up on the website so anybody who was unable to be here could watch it later. All right, so the basic information. So the Business Plan Competition Grant is up to $30,000 from the City of Greenville for a small business that is relocating or expanding in the Uptown West Greenville revitalization area. I have a map at the back that's blown up to show you the exact area in which that includes, so you can see the exact properties. And if you have a question about a certain property, just let me know and we can kind of find it on the map. While it is up to $30,000, that's based on your investment in buying a building, restructuring it, construction, things like that. Most of our grants are actually $15,000. So one of the key pieces to this is that businesses must remain open and located in the designated area for 3 years. So you can move around within the area and you can change locations, but you have to stay within that designated area. If you're there for 2 years and you move out for the third year, it's a prorated rate. So if you were there for 2 and you moved out for 1, you would owe the city back $5,000. But if you're there for 3 years and at the end of your term you stay there, great, you don't owe us anything back. All right, so here's a map. I know it's kind of hard to see from where you all are sitting. This is the Reed Circle area, and then you have Evans going that way where the river, and then this is the West Greenville revitalization area. Like I said, I've got a blown up picture of it in the back with aerials, so it might be a little easier to see. Okay, so the basic requirements for the grant. You must be a for-profit small business whose net worth is not in excess of $7.5 million. That is the definition from the Small Business Association, so that's the one we kind of go by. Your city and county taxes for any business or individual must be paid. So when you turn your grant in and we start going through the process, when I get your application, I'll go on the city and county websites and make sure that car taxes, property taxes, and things like that are paid. If they're not paid, I'll reach out to you and let you know. As long as you get them paid before your interview, you're good to go. You must complete 3 courses through Pitt County Community College, their Small Business Center, or the Small Business Technology Development Center. And we've actually got 2 representatives over here on my left, your right. We have Jim Enzer from PCC, and we've got Debbie Hathaway from the SBTDC. The biggest thing to know about those classes is they're absolutely free to you all. There's multiple classes. We don't decide which ones you take. That's kind of up to your choice. But you do have to take 3 classes before you turn in your application. And then you must be new or expanding in the designated area. So if you don't have a location and you're opening a new location, obviously you're classified as new. If you're expanding, so if you're already located in the area and you are expanding, you have to show us how you're expanding, whether you're creating new jobs or offering a brand new service, something that hasn't previously been done with your company, that type of expansion. So you just have to show us that. All right, so the process. So the deadline for the grant is July 1. July 1, okay? So the way that'll work is you'll turn in your entire business plan to me on July 1. We'll meet. I'll have a checklist to go through with you to make sure everything is included in your business plan. Then we'll set up an interview date with you. You'll interview with our panel, and they'll go through and ask you a bunch of questions. They will have had your business plan ahead of time, so they'll have read it and have questions for you prepared. Then the panel will make a recommendation to the committee at large. It's the Redevelopment Commission. So they'll make their recommendation out of the applicants on who should get funded. Once they make that recommendation, the committee will vote. and then we'll have our awardees, and then you'll just come into the office, we'll get some paperwork signed, and then on a yearly basis, you'll have to fill out a survey to let us know how you're doing, any improvements we could have made in the grant process, things like that. All right, so expectations. Let me pause real quick and ask if anybody has any questions so far. I know I went through that really quick. Yes.
July 1st, does courses have to be completed before July 1st?
Okay, so the question was, do the courses have to be repeated or finished by July 1st? We would prefer that they are, yes.
So therefore, how long do the courses last? What's this March?
So the courses are actually one night. So like you go for 3 hours. I'm sorry, I should have clarified that. Yeah, so the courses, it's like a Tuesday night and you go for 3 hours. And like I said, they offer multiple courses multiple times a month. So between now and July, we hope that something, at least 3 of those can match up with your schedule. Pink, we'll go there first.
Is only one grant that's going to be granted?
Okay, so the question was, is there only one grant? No. So we can fund up to 4 each cycle. So it just depends on how many applicants. We won't necessarily fund 4 people each cycle, but we can fund up to 4 according to the guidelines.
A cycle is?
Oh, I'm sorry. We do it twice a year. So we do July 1 and December 1. So this is our summer cycle, and so we can fund up to 4 people this cycle. Do you still have a question? Yes, ma'am.
If you've taken the business courses previous years, do they have keep a record of that?
I'm not sure if they do. Did you take them here?
At Greenville College?
Okay, yeah. If you have a business counselor or something like that, there's a little spot on our form. If you'll just write down what courses you took and when you took them, that's all we need. Yes.
Casey, a lot of questions that I get is if they apply for, say, the July 1 grant, they're not granted, can they come back for December, or do they have to wait another year?
Okay, that's a very good question. So the question was, if they apply in July and they aren't funded, can they apply again in December? We just changed the guidelines, and yes, you can. So the first time you apply, if you're not funded and the committee has suggestions, and you go back and make those suggestions, and then by December you're ready to submit again, you can. If in December you submit and you're not funded for a second time, then you have to wait a year. So, good question. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Angela to talk about the committee's expectations.
Good afternoon, everybody. As she said, my name is Angela Marshall. I'm going to talk about the expectations, and the first thing I want to tell you is with a business plan, we want to make sure that there are no spelling or grammatical errors, because the document represents you as an individual or as a group, and it's the first thing that we get to see of you. And it also speaks to your attention to detail. So you want to and we look at that, and it's all counted. And remember, this is a competition, so everything counts. Your presentation of your document, how it looks, how it reads, is all the information there, and we expect that you treat this as a professional document. As if you were going to a financial institution and you were asking them for money, you would first make sure that you had all of your documents together. So we expect that when you come to us, it's the same thing. So what does that really mean is that you have to have a clear understanding of your business vision. What is your market? Who are you talking about? What is it that you actually want us to understand about your market? You have to know whether or not and how it benefits the community. Is it a business that's actually needed? Your understanding of your market, I'm going to put that down because it makes me feel like I need to read from it, and I know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to leave it there. The understanding of your market, your competition, who you're distributing to, not just in Greenville, but in surrounding areas, because you have to think that a lot of people don't just do their shopping and things here in Greenville. Don't rely on just one segment of the marketplace unless your business is a specialty business. We look at those kinds of things as well. We look at, have you done your homework? Do you know what your vision is? Can you articulate it to the people that are asking? If you can't tell us what your business vision is, then that makes it difficult for us to determine that you will use the money that we distribute wisely, because you don't really know what it is you're going to be using it for. Any questions so far? Okay, so know who your competition is. Not just the store or the businesses that are like yours, but the demographics as well. The age group also. The proximity to your business. How many other businesses are like yours in that proximity? Are they exactly the same? Are they similar? Are they somewhat different? What the differences are? Why is your business going to succeed more than another business in the area? What's so unique about your business? Why is it that you feel that your business deserves more than any other business that's in the competition deserves to be granted the funds? We are very, very meticulous about the way we look at your competition, the way we look at your business plan. Line upon line, we don't leave anything out, okay? Do your homework. And what that means is don't leave any stone unturned. If it comes to your mind, if you think that could be a question, then do the research. Answer the question. On the business plan, it's step by step. Don't leave anything out. Don't skip anything. Because when we look at the front page, we're going to look at that front page and determine they didn't give us this information. They didn't tell us how much they're contributing. We want to they didn't say how much they were looking to get. So we don't leave any stone unturned when we're looking at it. Play devil's advocate with yourself. You know, ask yourself the hard questions. If you were about to give somebody a loan or free money for some service, what are the questions that you would want to ask them? What information would you want them to give to you before you handed them over any money? So play devil's advocate with yourself, because when you get to us, that's going to be our job. Sorry. And be sure to be honest with yourself. Don't kid yourself about your business. Don't kid yourself about the number of people that are already doing it. Make sure that if you're telling us that you're going to open I'll just use this as an example because it came to my mind, although I don't drink, an ABC store. A lot of them are around. Why should yours be any different? You're going to open up a clothing store, a boutique. Why is yours different? Why should you get that money? Ask yourself the hard questions, do the homework, do the research. We'd rather you take your time and maybe not do July and wait till December to get it right than to push it and not have all of your information there. Because the last thing you want to do is come in a room with people asking you questions about your business and you can't articulate it. You can't tell me your vision. You can't tell me your mission. You can't tell me the purpose. You can't tell me who else is doing it. You can't tell me why you're even doing it. So make sure you know, because that's what we expect when we look at your business plan. And very important, please have somebody else read it for you. When you are close to something, sometimes you read what should be there and not what's there. Have someone else review it before you bring it in. And be prepared to answer all of the questions about your business. Everything that you can possibly think of, be prepared to answer them. Any questions for me? Does that mean I did a good job? Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Mark.
No, it's you. I was just going to your slide.
Young man, there's a seat up front if you want to come up front and sit down. And what about the young lady sitting on the table? You want a seat too? We got some extras over here. So I want everybody to at least be comfortable. This is the, I call it the heavy lifting portion of the presentation, or the tough love portion. I know these ladies are smiling. It's going to be a fact. You're either going to be successful or you're going to run out of money trying. That's the way, that's the life of small business. And even worse, you're going to end up spending hundreds or maybe even thousands of your own dollars. Or if you get a loan from a bank or from a friend, you'll end up spending their money. And if you're not successful, you're going to have to pay them back, and you're not going to have a business. You have to know your financials. You got to know how your business runs from a financial point of view. I'm talking about P&Ls. How many know what P&Ls are? Profit and loss, monthly income, expense projections, those things that take for you to keep that business going and operating. And don't trust that to anyone else. If it's your business, do that yourself. Trust it to yourself and understand your own financials. Don't say my cousin, brother's uncle is handling my financials. Because we've seen situations where I think fraternity brothers were skimming from a business as they came to us with a plan. Those things we see, and when we begin to ask you questions about your business, the answer is not, well, my accountant is taking care of that, or you need to talk to my accountant. And understand where your numbers are coming from. I'm going to talk about expenses and income in just a second briefly, and understand how you got them. And know your profits. Know what your profit projection is going to be. Know what your profits are going to be when you put together your statement, what your profits will be at the end of the month, and it should be the same for the first part of the month. We'll see statements that come in that show a $1,000 profit on April 30th. May 1st, they show a $10,000 starting the month. We have to ask, where did that $9,000 come from? I don't know. It's magically appeared. You've got to know your financials. Now think about the costs. Let me talk about costs for just a minute. The major costs in any business, whether a major corporation like a GE or Ford or even your small business, is going to be even labor, which are employees and people, and it's going to be inventory. And if you haven't accounted for those in your business plan, that is an immediate red flag to us. How are you using people, and how are you using the product or services that you have for that business? You got to be considerate of other costs: rent, utilities, insurance, accountants, part-time employees, internet, telephone, the list goes on. Where are they in your plan? What about marketing and advertising? Simple business on the corner? How do they know you're there? You got to market, you got to advertise it, you got to promote it. Where are those costs located? And also, a lot of times, costs that we see people don't put in a business plan is the money you have to pay the government, such as unemployment taxes, SSI for your employees, or maybe even Medicare. Those type things need to be shown somewhere in that business plan, all your costs. And what are your major costs for startup? How much does it take for you to start your business? Do you need furniture? Do you need equipment? What about cash register? What about computers, and how much renovations do you have to do? Do you have to knock a wall out in order to do? You have to bring in shelving in order to get your business started. Do you have to put in new carpet to get your business started? Do you have to put in lighting to get your business started? Those are costs that need to be somewhere in your business plan. Know your breakdown, or know the breakdown? You need to know which every item in your statements, what that item means, what's included in that item. You must know what are fixed costs versus variable costs. How many know what fixed costs versus variable costs means? That's probably an assignment for you to figure out the difference between a fixed cost and a variable cost. Fixed costs are those costs that, regardless of what you do, even if you don't open the doors, you got to pay. Rent is a good example of fixed costs. You're going to pay that if you sign a lease every month. A variable cost is a cost associated with that product that you sell. So those are type things you need to be on top of, you need to be aware of, that we look for. Are your utility costs, are they rolled into the monthly rent? Or are you paying for those, are you paying Greenville utilities separately? And an important point that we see situations from time to time, don't mingle your business expenses with your personal expenses in your checking account or on your credit card. We have seen situations where people have used credit cards. We see the statement, they've charged things like alcohol on their credit card to their business, bars to their business. Keep it separate, not for our sake, but from the IRS point of view. Keep it separate. Let's talk about profit. Business exists to make a profit. If you aren't in the business to make a profit, you don't deserve this grant. It's not a nonprofit. It's not a charity. If you want to be a charity, you want to be a government agency, you are in business to make a profit. Look at what you're taking out of your business. How much do you need to repay your loan to Uncle Joe, back to the bank, or even repay yourself. If you loan your own business money, you want it back eventually. And you need to look for ways to get out of the business. How much of salary, if any, are you going to draw? How much of an owner's draw are you going to have? How much are you going to take out on a monthly basis to live? And after a period of time, the business must show a profit over and above the grant money that you may have received. And another reason you must know your numbers, if your business is hemorrhaging dollars, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't know your numbers, you're not going to know how to stop it. You're not going to know how to fix it. You'll make some knee-jerk reaction which causes worse problems for you long term. So you need to know, again, your numbers. Plan B. The grant should not be your only source of revenue for your business. If it's the only source you're looking at to help fund your business, you have not taken any risks. You put the risk back on the city of Greenville. How much risk are you taking to live your dream? And also, what do you do if you don't get a grant from us? Are you going to say, we don't get the grant, or we're not going to start this business? Back to what Angela said, how passionate are you about your business? You know, what I like to hear from a person, sometimes when they come in, they say, you know, whether I get the money or not, I'm going to start this business. I've been wanting to do this is my heart's set, and they're going to go forward and they'll put the effort into it. Because your plan B tells us how committed you are to getting your business off the ground. Financials, we're not giving away trophies. We're not giving away trips to Disney World. You know, we're not giving away those nice little placards. It's dollars that the city of Greenville and taxpayers are giving to you to have fun and start a business for West Greenville and Center City. And it is important how we as stewards manage those taxpayer dollars. And it's important for you how you manage those dollars also. Any questions for me? I'm gonna scare everybody off too. Yes, one in the back, young man.
Hey, you said that the business should make a profit over the grant amount. How many years are you expecting that?
Well, we don't assign a certain number. Let me put it this way. Normally, if you look at the first year, maybe the first year you break even. But how long can you sustain a business losing money? That becomes the question. How long can you sustain and keep a business open? Because you got to pay your bills, regardless. You know, Green Utilities will say, we don't care what kind of business you're in, we want our money. We have not said a thing that you have to. We asked for 3-year projections. I think 3-year projections. 3-year projections. We look very closely at the first year and see if you're turning a profit or breaking even or have a small loss that first year. Because if you don't make it that first year, we don't worry about year 2 and 3 because you're not going to be around in year 2 or 3. So, you know, hopefully you'll make your business plan show you're making a profit the first year. But we'll take into account if you're not. If your numbers are realistic, and I saw situations some years ago. I was in the restaurant business for some time. This person came in and they expected to do $4 million in restaurant business the first year. That's unreasonable. But the only way their statement could cash flow with all the expenses they saw is to have $4 million. And that was an immediate flag to us that they were not going to be profitable. So your statement should at least give us a feel for, I'm going to be profitable the first year, or maybe part of the second year. And if the numbers are realistic, we can live with those numbers if they're realistic. Yes, sir, ma'am.
I speak for myself. I just started performing my business last year.
Okay.
I made it through year 1, as you say. So how do I still, is the same thing still apply for me?
To apply for a grant?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Being successful.
Business, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
So, but I see more growth and opportunity here in the town. I'm just making sure that I'm in the right place, that's all.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to say like if it was already business that wasn't started.
Yeah, that's okay. And someone maybe, and Jim could agree with me or disagree. Most businesses really don't become really profitable about the 3rd year. If you can hang on for about 3 years and run a good, tight business, you should begin to see profit. That's why most businesses either are successful or fail after the end of 3 years. Normally, by the time you get in and understand the business, it's about 3 years. So you almost got to have those dollars or manage the dollars that you have very efficiently. That's back to the financial part. You've got to know when to cut, where to cut. You know, you can't bring everybody on and give those folks salaries. You just can't do it. You know, and it's unrealistic to say, I'm going to work, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's unrealistic too for you, because you will kill yourself doing that. And you miss the important things. So if you have an ongoing business or want to start a business in this area, you're all candidates. Any other questions? One back, way back, and I get to you, young man.
Do you all at some point, when you all grant a business a grant, do you all at some point visit that business?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ron.
I'll answer that. Yes, we do. So we will often come and check in, see how you're doing. We host different networking events and things like that throughout the city to kind of get all of our grant winners out of their businesses, meeting each other. We check in with you. We do yearly surveys. We come by. So yes, absolutely.
Okay, you had a question.
Yeah, outside of financial projections, what are y'all looking for as far as financial records being put forth?
Banks.
I'll answer that.
Let her answer that. I know we'll let her answer that.
So if you're they're going to tell me to move over. So if you're a new business, we ask for your personal tax records just to look at them. They never see them. That's just for the city's purpose. So from that perspective, if you're a brand new business just starting, we just ask for your personal tax records from the previous year, and then you would just do financial projections for the first 3 years. If you're an existing business, we ask for at least 1 year, if not 2 years, previous tax records, and then you'll still do a financial projection of 3 years. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Any other questions? Well, I hope I haven't scared anyone off, but the important thing, and these ladies can testify to that, is we've had folks come in, want to start a business, and willing to invest thousands of their own dollars. And after they left us, they have gone back and rethink. I'd rather for you to look at your business in detail before you invest your own money or somebody else's money and lose those dollars. It's better to run it us before you put those dollars, down the drain in a lot of cases. So, to be financial, have your dream, your vision, but know your numbers.
I just wanted to add also about the operations of your business. Make sure that when you're talking about how your business is going to operate, everybody involved in that business know who they are, what their qualifications are, what their jobs are, what their job descriptions are, how they benefit the business, how you're going to move your product or service, because all of that is also taken in consideration. How that business is going to operate in order to make the money that you want to make or to make the revenue that you're looking for. Because without knowing how it's going to operate, more than likely you won't be successful. That is a key factor in being successful in a business, is how is it going to operate and who's going to be doing what. As Mark said, financially and also operation-wise, you're ultimately responsible, so you should know everything that happens, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do everything, but you are responsible for knowing about it. So pay close attention to the operations of your business, because when you come to us, we will.
All right, well, that's kind of the end of our presentation for today. As I mentioned, we've got Jim and Debbie over here from PCC and the Small Business Technology Development Center. So please stick around and ask them any questions you may have. They have handouts and class schedules and things like that. You have a question?
We got one question.
Sure.
Now, if for the locations that you said we have to locate to,
Yep.
would it still be like individual landlords and people like that, or is this property that is like kind of like through Greenville?
No, so you would work out the land, the lease, the purchase, whatever, on your own. We just have to make sure it's within the boundaries. Yes, ma'am.
Your grant,
Yes,
what exactly can we use the money for?
anything.
Like,
Marketing, advertising, building improvements, furniture, an employee, inventory, pretty much anything. Yes, sir.
So what are the boundaries? What are the boundaries?
I've got a map in the back. It looks like that. But the map in the back is, you can see from above and you can kind of see where how it's laid out. I've also got some applications in the back as well if you're interested. You can also find it on our website at invest.greenvillenc.gov. But if you guys don't have any other questions, that's the end of our information session. I appreciate everyone coming out. I've got business cards if you want more information or anything. Just come grab me and I'll be glad to hand them out. So
Is that map on that website?
yes, and it's also in the application.
So we can print all that off the website?
Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Thank you all. I appreciate it.